Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Kevin. I hope you guys are having a good day. I know I'm having a good day. Now before we start this crazy new video, and yes it is crazy, Mikel and I go back and forth a little bit too much, but y'all be alright. I'm here to tell you guys about Carmenita Helagar's interactive s'mores bars. Now what these s'mores bars are, of course they're marshmallow, but they come on a stick and they're dipped in flavor. They come in flavors such as lemon, caramel, strawberry, peanut butter, mint chocolate, and of course just the original s'mores bar. Now these s'mores bars have been endorsed by Transracial from Basketball Wives, Karen Civil. They've been at the Vice movie premiere, and you know they just been a little bit everywhere. So now they're on the Scorpion Show. Hey, how about that? These s'mores bars, interactive s'mores bars, are now on the Scorpion Show. And not only does Carmenita make these delicious interactive s'mores bars, she also does interior design and she does gourmet catering. So if you are in the LA area and you would love for Carmenita to hook up your party, head on over to CarmenitaHelagar.com. Now while y'all getting up into this new video, I'm going to get up into this interactive s'mores bar. Now why did I tie this so tight? Now I wasn't supposed to do that, but hey, here we go. So I'm going to get into this s'mores bar while y'all get up into this new video. And again, head on over to CarmenitaHelagar.com and check out these interactive s'mores bars and more. Let me just go ahead. We think they're good. Remind me. This reminds me of a, whoa! What is the name I'm looking for? A strawberry shortcake. These are good. Wake up. Anybody ready? Oh, I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
Why you got that thing flipped up like that?
I ain't mean to have it all. I'll fix it. There you go. How that look? Is that better? Yeah, good. What's going on YouTube? It's Kevin and Mikel. We're back with a new video a day early. So shout out to y'all that's watching this video. Please make sure you start this video off by clicking that thumbs up button. That means if you're on your phone, sitting at the computer, on the Xbox or the PlayStation or whatever tablet you have that's not an iPad, click that thumbs up button, y'all. Share this video, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, or wherever you share our videos. I want to give a shout out to everyone who watched our previous video, because that video had over 560 comments the last time I checked them. And I mean, everybody was in there going back and forth. Some agree with you, some agree with me. Some people saying there's no such thing as transracial. Some people agree. I mean, they were really going in on the comments. And most of the people kept it respectful. So thank you guys so much for that. And also, no, decepting is not a word. Okay? I think like maybe first it was like 2 or 3 people that said something, and then everybody wanted to keep saying the same thing. So I had to leave a comment saying, wow, okay, we said it, I acknowledged it the first time. Now how many more times people want to keep saying, how many times you going to keep beating this dead horse? So then somebody went to Twitter 24 hours later to tell me the same thing. And when somebody keeps telling you the same stuff, you're going to snap like, damn, I know you see my comment, because my comment is the first thing you see when you come up there. So, you know, I went a little bit off the deep end, so I apologize for being out of line and for cursing. But it is like crazy. Thank you, bitch. Stop checking you out. It's crazy when you keep seeing the same thing over and over. Then you got to come all the way to YouTube to make a point. I mean Twitter to make a point, and they're going to use elementary grammar. First of all, in elementary school, deceiving is not even a damn spelling word. At least that wasn't a spelling word in none of my vocabulary tests. But anyway, so yeah, first out, I want to talk to you guys about the GoFundMe account for the Scorpion Show Barbecue. And yes, all the YouTubers are also donating into the GoFundMe account. So far, we are at 50% of our goal. And I want to say thank you to everyone that donated. If you already donated to this, did I say the Scorpion Show Barbecue? I meant to say the Blackout. The Blackout.
It's okay.
Yeah, damn, my mind is just crazy. Okay, I'm trying to get my hotel together, trying to get my flights together. Like I'm trying to get everything together. I need everything in order. But anyway, So far, we collected 50% of our donations, so thank you so much. And if you already donated, please go back to the GoFundMe page because we now have donation perks. So if you donate a certain amount, you will receive a perk that's on the list. The link is inside the more info box for the GoFundMe account if you want to check it out to see what your donation perk is, or if you want to donate and receive a donation perk. Also, our Scorpion Show shirts are on sale. All shirts, long sleeve, short sleeve, V-neck, not V-neck tanks, V-neck t-shirts are on sale, 15% off. Use the code T-shirt 2015. I want to say thank you to everyone who sent their shirt photos as you seen them in the beginning of this video. And I think that is enough of my announcements that I had to make. So we got the shirts. They're on sale until Sunday. They're on sale until Sunday, so if you get paid this weekend, make sure you go over, get yourself a Scorpion Show shirt. Also, if you can donate to the GoFundMe, thank you so much. Please donate whatever you can. And thumbs up this video. And if you're a first time watcher, subscribe. Somebody left a comment saying, I don't know where the fuck I've been at, but I'm glad I found y'all. And I hope you click that. I really hope you click that subscribe button. So, since we started the last video off talking about Rachel Dolezal, I don't even know how to say her name yet. But anyway, we're going to talk about this Today Show interview. Michaela and I just got finished watching her and Matt Lauer have the conversation. And the first thing he asked her is, are you really an African American? And she said that she identified with being black. So she never said that she was African American, and she didn't say that she was a white woman. She just said that she identifies as being black. And there is no way, not that I know of, that you can identify being black. I think that you can identify with black culture. That's what I think that she was trying to say, but didn't know how to say it, because you just can't identify with being this race. Identify with being Latino. Like, no, you can't. And I wish she would have explained why she felt that she identified with being black. But she talked about how when she was a child, how she would draw pictures of herself, and she said instead of using a brown crayon, I would use the peach crayon. And you know, that still to me is not saying that okay, something is wrong with her. Like I just don't get it. I still think that she was deceiving a lot of people. And Matt Lauer, I mean, he was really going in by naming so many things that she's done, and so many times she's been called African American, and ain't none of the times, there was no time where she corrected anybody. So he was asking her, like, why didn't you correct anybody about the things that people were saying about you? And she really didn't have an answer for that. To me, she really didn't have an answer for that. Basically, it's, to me, I'm thinking like she's thinking to herself, is as long as I look African American, then I'm going to pass as being African American, and I'm not going to change anybody's mind about it. And Matt Lauer was like, well, excuse me, but I think it's deceiving. And she was saying that she didn't think that she was being deceiving. They also talked about her adopting her two what you call them when they adopt, when you adopt them into your family, they become your stepbrother or your adopted brothers. I don't know. She adopted her two young brothers. So then she began to start thinking that, well, if I'm adopting these two young black boys, there's no way I could be a white mother and raise these children. And so she was saying that I am a black woman raising these children. And first thing I thought of is, why can't you be a white woman adopting two young black children and be white? Because it's done all the time.
Yeah, look at losing Isaiah.
That
She did. She died of that whole day.
I was not expecting you to say that.
And when he did adopt that little black boy. You didn't see that movie? From Hollywood?
So she
did. She didn't lose an Isaiah.
I was not expecting you to talk about no losing Isaiah.
That's what I thought of when she said that.
You made me lose my whole train of thought. sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, where I was at. So she was saying that there's no way she can be a white woman raising 2 black children. So she had to become a black woman. But I just think this interview was just a bunch of excuses on why things are the way why she did the things that she done. Oh my God, I can see that now. Oh my God, you said it wrong. But yeah, so for me, again, there's no such thing as a transracial person, at least not in our generation right now. In the future, they might try to change it.
I love that you said that in our generation right now, because I saw a comment where somebody said to you, I want to make sure I word it. Well, I can't word it right because I don't have it in front of me. But they left a comment to you saying, Kevin, think about it this way. Many years ago, there was no such thing as a transgender person, and then, came along transgender. Now, I was about to say something when you were talking about her saying she identifies as black. I'm trying to think of what you said. You said she identified with black, and you were saying something like you didn't think
she can identify with black culture, but there's no way you can identify with being black.
Right. That's what I was going to talk about. I don't know how you can. Well,
let's air it down a little bit. Go ahead.
You can identify with black culture. I agree. Can you identify as being black? That's a good question.
For instance,
some would I get what you're saying. Some would say you can identify with being black, just like you can identify with being white. Now, I'm not saying this. Some would say that because you identifying with being something does not necessarily mean that you are. It just means that you identify with that. I can identify with being a farmer when I go to a farm. Just because I know, or just because I wear overalls and mess around in hay does not necessarily mean I'm a farmer, but I'm identified as being one because that's what I'm looking to. Rachel Dolezal, whatever her name is, I think her story is really complex because in her mind, this woman does believe that she is now a black woman. She knows in her heart that we all know that she wasn't born a black woman. And she's trying so hard to convince the world that she is somehow magically black woman.
Yeah. She said some.
I'm not finished. Identifying with something.
Because you don't talk. That's what I'm saying. I know that's why you better keep going. Go ahead.
Identifying with something, I think it kind of goes back, and I actually, for the first time, read the comments today on our video. I just kept quiet. I didn't say a word. Just kept quiet. I read the comments. Read all of them. I kept quiet. And a lot of people on our comments made a lot of good points, and they made a lot of sense. Even those that even the people who didn't necessarily agree with what I had to say, a lot of people were making good points. So shout out to y'all.
It was good.
That's why I said earlier on in that video that, I would love to see what people have to say. But back to what I was saying. Now, if she's identifying with being black, if this white woman is identifying with being black, she's not black, but she's identifying with being it, then can a man identify himself with being a woman? Yes. Why can he do that? Because what do we call that? We call that in this society transgender. Do we not?
Yeah, but that also has to do with the mindset too.
Yeah, but both minds of both people believe in their mind. Like I said, Rachel knows that she was born a white woman, but today in 2015, in her mind, she's a black woman. A man, Scott, let's just say Scott. Scott knows that 20 years ago he was born a man, But in 2015, he's identifying himself as a woman. He's living his life as a woman. He's doing what women would do. Well, he can't do everything that a woman does, but he's doing everything that he can do that a woman does. Rachel, her identifying as a black woman is, she's taking that step to, I'm going to darken my skin to the best of my ability. I'm going to curl my hair to a way that it doesn't make me look white, but it doesn't make me look black. It makes me look biracial because I can pass for having a white mother and a black father. I'm doing all the things that I need to do to make myself appear black. A man who was born a man 20 years ago, he's doing everything that he can do today to identify as a woman. When you say you still don't think that she can identify herself as a black woman, I say she can. Because if a man can identify himself as a woman today, she can identify herself as a black woman. That does not necessarily mean that she is black, because you and I both know with common sense that she's not black. But that's what she sees herself as.
No, I think it's just because while you're sitting here talking, I'm sitting here thinking about so much. And when you're talking about being born in the wrong body, or feeling that you were born in the wrong body versus...
No, I didn't say that.
No, I'm saying, listen, when you're saying that a man identifies as being a woman, to me that's saying to yourself like, you know, I'm not in the right body. And most people pick that up, or I'm not sure everybody, but I know that we talked about stories where people as young as 3 wanted to be the opposite sex.
Right.
I don't agree with y'all. I think if y'all remember a long time ago, either way, I still don't agree with changing the identity of your child, gender identity of a child so young.
Right.
I'd say wait till they get older and then let them decide if that's what they want to do. But back to what you're saying, and then about identifying with being black. Okay, there's no way you can identify with being black. What you are identifying is with the African American culture, the way we do things, the way we say things, the way we dress, the way we talk, if I didn't say that already. That's what, to me, that's what she's identifying with. But she's not black. And there's no way that you can change, there's no way that you can change your race to become the opposite of your race, to white, or to be black, or to be Latino. There's no way that you can do that. But when it comes to feeling like you're being born in the wrong body, that also has to do with how we are made at birth. Because you have people that are born, you have men that like men, and you have men that like women. And then you have some that like both. It's all, to me, it's all about the way, I can't fully explain it, but to me, that's why I'm thinking that they're different. Well, to me, that's why I'm saying that they're different, because some people might say that you're not right because you're attracted to the same sex, or something's not right with you, but you're like, this is the way that I was born. Some people are born feeling like I'm not in the right body. I'm supposed to be a woman. I've never heard anybody wake up saying, or grown up, or from any age saying that, oh, mom, I'm really a black person, or mom, I'm really a white person. But there are some people that wish that they were white, or wish they were a different race because of the things that, you know, let's say like black people, some black people want to be white because they say, oh, they come from a lot of money, or they do this, or their education is different for them than black people, or white people look better, and if you have dark skin, you're ugly. It's a whole lot that go into that, but I've never heard anybody saying that they identify with being a opposite race. I just never heard of it.
Now, listen to this. This earth, not this country or this city, but this earth is made up of billions of people. Rachel Dolezal is not the first person who is claiming to identify with being black.
No.
And I'm sure she's not the last. This is just the first time probably you've heard of this, or I've heard of this. What I'm saying is, no, she's not black. No, she can't be black. She can't.
But she won't deny it. She won't deny not being African American.
But the reason why she's not denying it, and there's a key point that I'm trying to make. She's not denying the fact that she can't be it, because in her mind she believes that she is. Now, like you said, you can't go from being white to being black. I agree with you. You can't do that. But remember, also like you said, someone who feels as though that they were born in the wrong body, that ain't just with genders. There's some people who may believe that they were born in the wrong race. Now, because you've never heard of it does not mean that that doesn't exist. That's just probably a story that has never come out yet. Again, like I said, it's always good to do some research, because you never know how many people out there who are probably the same way that Rachel Dolezal is. They're probably not going to the extent that she's going to by tanning and putting this shit on her skin, but that doesn't mean that they don't feel that way in the back of their mind. What I'm saying is, if it's good enough for the goose, then it should be good enough for the gander. If a man can feel as though he was born in the wrong body by saying, I feel as though that I was born a man, but I really should have been born a woman, then Rachel Dolezal, as quacky as she sounds when she does these interviews, she has that same right by saying, yeah, I may feel as though I was born. Now listen to this. Even her own admission, she says that when I was 5 years old, I started identifying with being black. She said when I would draw pictures of myself, I would use a brown crayon. So I don't know if that's true or not, but somehow, because her parents even said it in the interview, that she's always taken a liking to the African American culture. So maybe when she was 5, maybe she did have a liking to the African American culture. Maybe when she was 5, she did feel as though she herself was born in the wrong race. But if she is identifying as being black, no, she will never be black. She can never be black. But if that's what she's doing by taking those steps to get tans and to darken her skin, and like I said, to do what she's doing to her hair, to me that's no different from what a man is doing to make sure that by him identifying as a woman, he's going to take those steps to make sure that he looks like a woman.
You know what's so crazy though? Because this topic can talk about so much and go to different things. But because to white people, it can be, because I know for sure that with black people, especially me, because if I think you're going around bleaching your skin, that means that, to me, you are degrading your race, and you want to change who you are because you're not happy that, let's for instance, you're a dark-skinned person, so you're going around lightening your skin. So I know there's some white people saying that, it's something wrong with her, or she's degrading herself because she wants to be a black person bad. Now this is my thing. You can identify with the culture of the way African Americans grow up, but what's really bad is that you're altering your skin to look like us when you're not. You're trying to wear the same hairstyles and everything like that. Why can't you just identify with African American culture and be Rachel Dolezal as a white woman? What is so hard about that?
Let me ask you a question. Why is it degrading for someone to bleach their skin or to darken their skin, but it's not degrading for a man to want to change himself to be a woman?
Because that person is not transforming. That person feels as if I am born in the wrong body. So listen. Being born. Let me finish. That's not being born If you're feeling like you're being born in the wrong body, has nothing. Is not the same as saying, oh, let me bleach in my skin. You're bleaching your skin for acceptance from other people.
That may not be why she's doing that. That may be why she's... Alright, let's go off of your admissions. That may be why Rachel's doing it. But what about Tim, who's not doing it while Rachel's doing it? He's doing it because he feels...
Why do we keep comparing transgender to transracial? To me, that's not...
But you said there's no such thing as transracial. We're not comparing transgender and transracial. What we are comparing is, if it's good enough for the goose, then it should be good enough for her.
Just because people do things, they're not the same. You can't...
But both of them are transforming.
No, but to me, they're different. They are different. And no one is transforming. They're transitioning. That's what they're doing. But let me go back to what I was saying let me go back to what I'm saying. You cut me off and I forgot. So
I'm sorry I cut you off. I'm just trying to make sense of what you're saying.
No. It's not about making sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Because they're not the same.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, when you talk, I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it's about making sense.
But
I want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
When you listen to what I'm saying, don't cut me off, so that way I can finish what I was saying.
Go ahead.
But what we were talking about is the it was something that we were talking about before. We were talking about.
I said something to the effect of, if it's okay, if it's degrading.
No, before that, because we were.
Well, you were done when I started talking about degrading. You were, because then I started talking about degrading.
Oh, because I was talking about bleaching your skin color.
You said that's degrading.
Bleaching, yes, that to me, that is, you're changing your whole skin color so someone can accept you. Because you want people to accept you. People do that to their children, and that's wrong to do that. Because they feel like, oh, if I bleach his skin and if I bleach my skin, people are going to like us better because we are lighter. Now looking lighter and changing your skin because of that, and darkening your skin to be accepted by black people and to deceive people by saying that you're black, to me, those are different. Those are in different categories. They are not the same. She's doing this because she feels like, oh my God, I'm black. I want to be black, or I want to identify more, so let me darken my skin and let me wear the female hairstyles so I can be more black because I identify with black. You can identify with the black culture, but you don't have to darken your skin, and you don't have to wear our hairstyles to identify with being black. Like for me, I love the Latino culture. I love a lot of things about it. Like I love going to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Like I love those things. But I'm not saying that, hey, I'm born, I identify with being Latino. No, I don't identify with being Latino. But I love the culture. I love the Latino culture.
But you know,
I love it. Now when we going back to this skin thing, you were saying, well, if it's good enough for the goose, it's good for the gander by changing. No, she's changing because she feels like she identifies with it.
But I'm not necessarily speaking of just her. That's what I'm trying
to. And then when we're getting into transgender or transgender, to me that's all from mental, feeling like I'm not born right. And I also believe that it comes from our the maternal side and the paternal side, making you as that child where you feel like I'm not born right. Just like because we're all not, everybody's not born the same, and everybody don't have the same thoughts. Like you have men with men, you have women with women, you have men with females, female with men. To me, that's all the mental part of it. But saying like, oh my God, I think I'm supposed to be black. There's no way possible to me. There's no way possible to me that you can say I'm supposed to be black when you're born to white parents. You just, how?
Because listen to what I'm saying. I'm not necessarily, let me just apologize to anybody who I'm confusing. I'm not necessarily speaking on Rachel Dolezal. I'm speaking on that guy or that female out there who are not taking the path that she took, who are not taking that deceiving path. They're not taking that path, okay? So let's wipe her out. They're not taking her path. They're taking the path of, I always felt as though I was born in the wrong race. Not the wrong body, the wrong race. What I'm saying is, if they feel as though that they were born in the wrong race and they're trying their best to either bleach their skin or darken their skin, what I'm saying is, not what she did, but what I'm saying is that's no different from somebody who's saying that they were born in the wrong body. They feel as though that they were born in the wrong race. Not deceiving anybody. They're saying, just like a transgender person is saying, I feel as though I was born in the wrong body, I was born in the wrong race. So now that I'm older, I'm going to do something about it. Yeah, I want to darken my skin or I want to bleach my skin. That's the point that I'm trying to make. That's no different from that. It's no different from that. Whether you say that, well, you can't be a different race, I agree with you. You cannot be a different race. But just like I agree with you that you can't be a different race, there's somebody who's watching this right now saying, Kevin, but guess what? You can't be a sex, no matter how you try to flip it, because that's not how you were born. That's the point that I'm making. If that transgender man or woman is happy with the life that they're living, then let that man or woman who feels as though that they were born in the wrong race, if they want to bleach their skin or darken it, let them be happy in that life that they're living. Not the life that Rachel Dolezal decided to live by deceiving everybody, but the life that they live that they feel as though I was born in the wrong race, and yes, my mother and father were black, or yes, my mother and father was white, but I feel as though I shouldn't have been born white. I feel as though I should have been born black, so I'm going to do something about it. If a transgender person can do something about it, my argument is, why can't somebody else do something about it when they feel as though they were born in the wrong body? That's all I'm saying. It has nothing to do with Rachel Dolezal, because me and you agree. She deceived the world. We agree on that. Now, we disagree when I say that, hell, that's how she feels, and let her keep living her life that way, because you don't think she should. But my thing is, now that we know she lied, and well, what are we going to do about it? We can't do nothing about it, because she's going to keep living her life as a so-called black woman. But my argument is about that man and woman who is not following Rachel Dolezal's path. That's the argument that I was trying to make. Do you get what I'm saying now?
I think I got what you were saying. Listen, this is my thing. This is what you think. You think that I never understand where you're coming from.
I know you understand where I'm coming from.
I'm listening. I listen, and I process everything that you're saying to me. For me, though, we're just going to have a difference of opinion, because for me, I don't agree that they are the same. They're different to me. They're different. So you saying that they are the same, even though they're both different variables, they're still the same because you're going the same route. To me, I'm saying no. They're coming from different standpoints. That's just how I feel about it. Some people may agree, some people may not agree.
So do you think that it is fair? Because I asked this question to this young lady on Instagram, and she didn't respond back, and I'm sure she did, but I haven't checked it yet. Do you think that it's fair that transgender men and women are accepted with transitioning, like you said, they're transitioning? Do you think it's fair that people, like in the gay community, particularly you, they accept them for transitioning, but it's not fair that people don't accept people for wanting to alter their skin color to be whatever? Do you think that's fair? That you say it's okay for transgender to transition to a different sex, but it's not okay for you to, no matter how you felt all these years, it's still not okay for you to do that?
To change your race.
Not even change your race, just change your skin and say that you're black or say that you're white.
Number one, people can do whatever they want to do. It's not fair if I judge you for doing that. No, it's not right if I'm judging you and looking down on you. But to me, if I'm saying that you are, now mind you, let's get some things out the way. If you are changing your skin color, there are some people that do have to change their skin color due to skin discoloration. So they want to even out their skin, so they bleed in certain parts of their body so that they all match. Now that's fine with me. But if you're changing your skin color for people to accept you, I find that wrong. And I find that you should really get help for that.
But that's not what, Kevin, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about acceptance. I'm talking about them
fair.
wanting to. No.
Fair.
I'm not talking about me changing my skin color because I want you to accept me. I'm talking about me changing my skin color because I feel as though I was born in the wrong body. It ain't got nothing to do with you accepting, because whether I change it or not, you accepting me ain't gonna mean shit to me. You keep saying accepting as if I'm saying that that's what it is. It's not. I'm not talking about somebody accepting them. I'm talking about, this is why I keep thinking that you're not understanding what I'm saying, because I didn't say nothing about accepting. But I'm saying,
you saying that they're changing their skin color. I'm saying you're changing your skin color for discoloration.
No, but you're saying for acceptance. But no, I'm not saying for acceptance. I'm just saying they changing their skin color because they feel as though they was born in the wrong race. But you keep saying, well, if you change it for acceptance, then that's wrong.
If you changing your skin color, do I think it's fair?
And I agree with you. If you change it for acceptance, that is wrong. Why would you want to be accepted that way? But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you changing it because you feel as though you were born in the wrong race, do you think that that's fair?
I'll say this. I'll say this. I think that you should be yourself. I think that you should be yourself. And people shouldn't judge you. But don't go around deceiving people. I would say that. Because if you're born white, let's say you're white. You are white.
Snow White.
Don't go around
Snow White,
whatever kind of white. You are white. Don't go around deceiving people by saying that you are African American when you are not African American. What Rachel Dolezal did was she got caught up. Now that she's in the press, now she's saying, and not just, I'm talking about her, even though you're not. Now she's saying that, okay, I identify with being black. No, you were deceiving everyone by pretending you are black. You even felt like, oh my God, I have to be a black woman to raise children, to raise black children. And that's not the truth. That is so far from the truth. You don't have to be black to raise black children. You don't have to be white to raise white children. That's just not true at all. But if you're going to be fair, you got to be honest. You have to be honest and say, I'm not really African American. I changed my skin color to look African American because I identify with being black. But then again, there's no way you can identify with being a race. You are identifying with the culture. That's what you're identifying.
I don't think
with.
that's fair though, to say that if you were walking around portraying yourself as black, that you must say that I wasn't born black.
Because when you go out you go to a job interview and they ask you what's your race, you want to put black when you really not?
Well, that's just like a transgender. You ain't gonna put a man.
When you transition into a woman, yes, she's gonna mark woman.
Well, that's her transitioning. Not her, but that's somebody else's transition.
But legally, can you say that you're African American? No. Can you? Let's say because we have.
You can say what you want to say on the job on an application. Nobody's ever asked to leave without documentation.
When it boils down to everything, she's just not. You're just not.
You're just not. But again,
and I still want to explain how she filed for discrimination against, how you filed for racial discrimination from Howard University. Back then you were white, huh? Now you're black? No. And I think when it comes to being fair, everyone, it is what it is.
Yeah, but
I
just think that if a transgender can put woman on the application, then somebody who's not black.
No, they should not, because they're not black.
Yeah, but then that's saying
because you can when it comes to being transgender, you can legally change your sex. So if you're transgender, you can mark female because you are female. Oh, so you're not agreeing because you're saying, oh, deep down you're really inside a man?
No, but what I'm saying is I don't know no transgender who has a period or has ever had a baby.
No, you don't have to have a period.
But that's a female.
You can alter. When you transition,
you can definitely alter. But I've never known a transgender to have a baby.
I'm talking about and actually there are some women who can have babies.
That's true.
Do that make them less of a woman?
But she has the organs to produce a baby.
But she still can't have children.
But that
doesn't make her less of a woman.
No, it doesn't make and you know what? No, it does not. But that does not mean that she don't have the stuff down there to actually produce the child. That's just like if a trans man, right? You go from a woman to a man. First of all, what's going on downstairs? You can't shoot out no semen.
No, you cannot.
You can't make no baby.
You cannot. But if you legally change your sex, why can't they put female or male for whatever race they are identifying with?
I've applied.
Whatever gender
for many jobs. And I've never had anybody ask me for legal documentation of whether or not I was a man or not. I just never had that happen before.
No, but they ask you, are you male or female?
It does. But if I mark down male, then I've never heard, or if I wanted to mark down female, naturally when they look at me, they don't say, you ain't no female. And if I argue with them and say, well, I am, I've never heard anybody saying, well, I need legal documentation that you are a male.
No.
The only thing you know what they're going to ask me for? Guess what they're going to ask me for? Your birth certificate. And what does that say? That's what they're going to ask you for. Because the birth certificate, you can't lie on that.
No.
That's what they're going to ask you for. Unless you make a fake birth certificate, that's the only legal documentation that I can only think of them asking you for.
No, you can say that you were born male and now that you are a female.
Right.
But you can still mark female. And I don't have a problem with marking female. And if you are equal opportunity employer...
I do, because I ain't no female.
Okay, but if you're an equal opportunity employer and you go ahead doing the interview, if she's female, then she's female. There's no way you could say, oh, but you're not female.
Well, I agree with you. And I also think that if equal opportunity employer, if they marking down black and they ain't white,
but let me ask you a question.
Don't not hire them because they ain't what they put down. Hire them because of their skills.
Let me ask you a question. So, let's say you identify with being black, but you are really white. And they giving out scholarships for African Americans. They're giving out scholarship for African Americans. And let's say she applies, or this person that identifies with being black, they applies and they win the scholarship.
Or they give it to me.
But they know they're not really African American. Then what? And then they find out that you're not really African American, then what?
Then what for me, or then what for them?
For the person that gets the award.
Well, that's good for them because they got the award.
But
are you talking about for the school?
From a school giving it to an African American, but you know you're not really African American, you're white. That's a problem. Now that's a problem to me. Well, that's a problem because you're not African American, you're white. Yeah,
but then that could be the same argument if you're giving a award to a woman and you give it to a transgender woman. A female will say, well, wait a minute, they weren't even. That's an argument that could be brought up for that case too.
That's not true because if I'm legally a female, but you know what? People have problems with it all the time.
Yes,
people have problems with it all the time.
Let me tell you something.
But they're not the same. I want you to know they are not the same.
We live in a world. I wanted to say this on the last. And I wanted to say this on the last video, but it slipped my mind. Just in case some of y'all didn't notice, we live in a world where we live in a new normal world where everything that wasn't normal years ago is now normal. Okay, you got transgenders, you got all these different things that wasn't normal years ago, but now it's normal. I don't see what anybody changing their skin, how that's any different from anybody changing their sex. Everything is now normal. So what I'm saying is, and what I've said even in the early beginning of the video, if it's good enough for the goose, then it should be good enough for the gander. If we are making everything new normal for one group, then it should be new normal for this group too. I can't look at you and say, well, I'm sorry, but you can't do that because... Yeah, you can't do that. But they can do it because they legally did it. But you gotta legally do it in order for me to say yes. And even when you do legally do it, I'm still looking at you funny because yeah, you wasn't really. You can't do that. You can't. It's not right and it's not fair. It's just not fair at all. It's not fair. And so if it's going to be good enough for them, then it should be good enough for them too. It should be good enough for everybody. We live in a new world. Don't we say all the time that Republicans need to get with the program? Well, some people need to get with the program too. This ain't all just about gays and transgenders. Transgenders aren't the only ones that are fighting the battle. There's a lot of people out there that are fighting battle. So if we're going to stand up and want to support transgenders, let's support everybody. Amen?
As long as you're not out here deceiving people.
Well, we ain't talking about deceiving. You keep saying deceiving. That's what I'm talking about.
Because she's deceiving.
She is. Yes.
Deceiving.
You know what?
I think more conversation about a transracial.
Deep down inside, I believe that you know what I'm talking about. But you keep bringing up her, and I'm not talking about her. You keep bringing her up.
Because you got white people that think they black, but you don't see them darkening their skin.
Yeah, but no, you don't. But like I said,
to adopt our culture,
listen,
but they identify
but that's like I said in the beginning of our video.
But
see, Kevin, that's why I said in the beginning of our video. That's why it's good to expand and research. Rachel Dolezal is not the only person that's going through this. She's just the only person that you know of because she's in the news.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Stop thinking that she's the only one.
There's nothing you can do to change your race. You are who you are. You are your race. So if you're white, you're white. If you're black, you're black. Hispanic, Hispanic. Asian, you're Asian. There's no way for Asian to change into a black person, and for a black person to change into a white person. You can't do it. Can't do it at all. You cannot do it. So that's why I don't agree. So you can't say that I identify as black. You identify with black culture. That's what you're identifying with. But don't go around darkening your skin and all of that stuff just to be black. Shit, you have white people, you got Latino people, you got Asian people going around dressing like how we dress, but they ain't going that damn far by adopting our hairstyles and adopting, you know, the skin color and all of that stuff. Come on. Be yourself, but just identify with it. So anyway, y'all.
How do we dress? Because you know what's so funny?
How do we dress?
I had a conversation with somebody who swore up and down that white women stole weave. When they see white women wearing weave, oh, they got that from black women. But if memory serves me right, years and years ago, white women were wearing those extension furs because black women were embracing their natural hair. It was only...
Growing up, I remember micros. I remember the individuals.
No, I'm talking about years ago, as far as like in the 60s and stuff, when them white women was wearing them extensions and them weaves and stuff in their hair, and black women were rocking out with the natural look. And then somewhere down the line, it kind of reversed, and black women picked up on the weave.
Yeah, I've never known for black people to come up with extensions.
Right, I didn't either. I just always saw white women wearing that early on. So that's why, you know, when black people were saying that white people stole weaves, I was like, well, I thought they was doing it.
Because our hair, a lot of for black women wore frobes. I don't know a lot of black women whose hair is just as long.
Or even wore wigs.
Black
women wore wigs too, but I don't remember them.
I don't see nothing wrong with the wig.
No,
I don't see nothing wrong with the hair.
My question, the reason why I brought that up because when you said something about how we dress, and that's why I said, well, how do we dress?
Yeah, well, we do have a way that we dress. We love to wear Timberland boots. We wear jeans and what's going on?
What's going on? I don't own Timberlands.
You don't? I wear Timberlands.
No, I said I don't own Timberlands. I said I don't own them.
Oh,
so
okay.
You gonna scratch me out that way?
Well, okay. Timberland boots, the jeans. You know, you got your little white beater or your nice shirt, huh? I don't know what kind of jeans. They could be any kind of jeans. I know I wear my Old Navy jeans. But you know, that's just the way we dress, the way we talk.
You mean a certain how we put it on? Is that what you're talking about?
The way we dress. Because black people and white people don't dress. White people and black people and white people don't dress alike. Let's come on. They don't dress alike.
I'm trying to figure out how do they dress because I dress.
You know how they dress.
No, I don't.
You know how they.
How do they dress?
Oh Lord, I'm not sitting here trying to explain everything.
I'm just saying. You say
we know black culture. We know how black people dress. We know how black people dress, and we know how white people dress.
Because white people aren't the only ones who get dressed up in these suits. I get dressed up.
No, we all wear suits, but I'm talking about urban wear.
Say that.
I don't have to say it. When I say how black people dress, that's how black. You want to be fucking technical. When I'm saying how we dress, that's how we dress.
You know why I want you to be technical so that people won't leave comments saying
let them leave the comments.
No,
at this point, I'm like, leave your comments.
No.
You know how black people dress?
No, but I'm saying
let's just say you'll say to a black person, oh, you acting white. You'll say to a white person, oh, you acting black. You know exactly. You know how they say.
And you know what's gonna happen?
You know how they say.
And you know what happens? You're going to find somebody in that crowd that says, well, what does acting white act like? And what I'm saying to you is, as a 30-year-old man, if you're going to say somebody's acting something, and if somebody comes back at you and says, well, how was that? I want you to say what you mean.
No, I don't have to say what you
don't have to say, but I don't.
Because you already know what it is. As you as an almost 30-year-old man, you know how black people dress, and you know how black people talk, and you know their hairstyles too. So I shouldn't have to say urban hairstyles. No. You know what I'm talking about.
But no. Listen to what I'm saying.
I am listening.
Listen. Isn't that kind of how, like, don't we talk about this all the time, how stop categorizing all gays as, and then people say, but you acting gay, well, what is acting gay? Because not all gays act like, oh, hey, girl, how you doing?
No, we all
right?
different. We're all different.
So that's what I'm saying to you. If you're going to make that assumption, then at least say what you mean so that people can understand what you're saying.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. So
I know what you're saying, but Kevin,
I shouldn't have to explain. First, again, I shouldn't have to explain everything that I'm saying. Come on, man. Come on. We all know what it is. And
no,
we
you
all
shouldn't
know,
have to explain what you're saying.
But you know what? That's just like saying sometimes we say, oh yeah, that's shit that white people do.
Right.
Oh, but that's not true.
Right.
All white people don't do it.
But then we say what it is that they do.
We say we shouldn't, but we do it.
But we say what it is that they do and what we're talking about. Do we not? Yes.
But that's not fair to say.
No, it may not be fair to say, but what I'm saying is that if you
we shouldn't say it if we're not gonna. We shouldn't say it at all.
You have to stop being so offensive.
No, I'm not. No, because you being a smart ass.
I'm not being a smart ass. Because when if you read the comments, listen, if you read the comments.
I read the comments.
No,
people want to say what they want to
say.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know people are going to say what they're going to say. That's why I don't read the comments. But what I'm saying is, you already know that there's going to be some smart ass out there that's going to say, well, what does that mean? How does that mean? And what I'm saying is, just explain.
Just like how you doing. Just like how you doing. So I don't have to break it down for them. Go Google it. Google urban culture. Google how black.
But what I'm saying is, you didn't say urban culture.
I don't have to say it. I don't have to. I don't have to. Black. You know how black people dress. Jesus. Damn. Smart ass. Anyway.
You know, I take that as a compliment when somebody calls me a smart ass. Because I work pretty damn hard to make sure I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking.
Yeah, amen. Amen.
I am a smart ass. Yes!
Yes. So we're going to get into another topic. I can't believe we've been sitting here talking this long about Rachel Dolezal.
I can, because it's a good topic.
Yeah, it is a good topic.
And if something pops up next week, I want to talk about it again.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Keep talking about it until the wheels fall.
Yeah, that's right. But I hope y'all still watch.
I'd rather talk about this than Housewives of Atlanta or
ain't nothing else on
or hip hop. I'd rather talk about this because this is what's going on in the world.
Yes. So speaking of what's going on in the world, something that's not being talked about a lot is about how Dominican Republic are forcing Haitians out of their country. Now, I found out about this yesterday, and I was really. I got to turn that TV off because it keeps cutting on and off. And I was getting very upset about what I was reading. Now, Dominican Republic, let me get these news.
I can't wait until my cruise.
So what they're saying is Dominican Republic are forcing Haitians who are born in their soil without proper documentation off their island, off their side of the island, even if they have a Dominican Republic birth certificate. So they're saying that you gotta have a working permit and all of this stuff. If you were born there, if you were born in Dominican Republic to Haitian parents after 1929 and you don't have the proper documentation, you have to leave. Even if you have a Dominican Republic birth certificate, they want you off the island. So you have over 250,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
First of all, you know how many years 1929 is?
Yeah, 80 years ago. Over 80 years.
86 years ago. So that means that everybody who is under the age of 86 has to leave. Yes. And everybody who's over the age of 86 can stay. Well,
yeah. And they're kicking them off.
You get my point?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, they want everybody off their island.
Right.
That's not Dominican. And if people have been like trying to get all the proper documentation that they need, and some of them have gone to the office a couple times because they're saying you don't have this, you don't have that. I just think that it's just wrong to say, oh well, you just had to leave our island, our side of our country, even though you have been born there and that's all you know is Spanish. All you know is Dominican Republic. They're saying, oh no, we're going to put all of you guys on the bus and we're going to deport you to Haiti. We're going to send you to Haiti. People like...
Well, you can put somebody on the bus and send them to Haiti from the Dominican Republic because there's different islands. I don't know they're connected.
No, they share the same island.
Oh, I've never been to either one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why that's why I'm telling y'all. That's why I'm telling y'all what's going on because it's not being talked about at all in America. It's not. It's not being talked about.
You know what that
don't see it on your news.
Them sending Mexicans back from this country.
That's what I'm gonna get to. That's what I'm gonna get to. So people have been fighting to like stay on this island. So then I went and found out the history of what's going on in Dominican Republic and Haiti. And what I have found out is that Dominicans do not like the Haitian people because, you know, they represent Africa. And what's been going on in Dominican Republic is that they are taught that they are not African when they are African. But they have been brainwashed, the Dominicans have been brainwashed for a longer period of time that, you know, just because you have this darker skin, you represent the country of Spain. You do not represent Africa. Christopher Columbus discovered this Hispaniola, that island that they share, Dominican Republic and Haiti. He discovered that island in the 1400s. And the Dominican side, they are more, again, they go towards Spain, like they represent stuff that goes on in Spain. When Dominican Republic celebrates their independence, they're celebrating their independence from Haiti, because Haiti came over in the mid-1800s and, you know, made sure that things were right, and then they just decided that, hey, we're not what's the word I'm looking for? We're not paying you taxes. We're not, kind of like how we got rid of ourselves from England. They did the same thing from Haiti. We're just not, it's the right fucking word. We're just declaring our independence from you guys, because we don't want you guys coming over here, your army or anything. We're going to do this shit on our own. So when in the 1900s, they had this they had a
governor?
President Trujillo. He was telling them that they are not African, that they were white. He had people
telling that to who? The Dominicans?
The Dominicans. He had people thinking that they were white, even though that he was part African. He started wearing makeup to disguise who he was. He was just doing all kinds of things. Like when they had brochures to tell people to come to the Dominican Republic, it was, they had white people all in the brochures. Like I learned a lot watching the Black and Latin America. Black and Latin America with Henry Louis Gates. Also, one of the Dominican historians, he was showing them the picture, the Sambo characters, how they sell them in the window, and he was saying, like, you know, this is the reason why Dominicans don't want anything to do with Africa, because when they see the Sambos, it's a negative thing. So that's why they don't identify with their African roots, even though the slaves were brought to the island of Hispaniola to be slaves. And that it was just such a good documentary, but I just never knew that.
Where did you see it at?
I seen it on Netflix. I just never knew that, even though you can share the same skin color. Because I mean, Dominicans, they are darker. Oh my God, they come in all shades. They come in all shades, but they don't consider themselves African, and they think that they're better. Not all. I'm not going to say all of them, but in that time, they were thinking that they were better than the Haitians. Even like the Haitians were coming over to Dominican Republic to work, the Dominicans felt like they were too good to work. So that's why they like looked down upon the Haitians. I just never knew that all of that was going on in that one island where they can just hate each other. And the difference is, one says that we're African and one says that we come from Spain, so we're gonna do everything with Spain, and one says that we're gonna recognize our African roots. And then I learned just how Haiti became such a poor country. It was just crazy. Now I ain't got time to sit here and give y'all the whole history lesson, but America has something to do with Haiti being poor. France has something to do with it. It's just crazy, and it's the poorest country on the Western Hemisphere. And I mean, after the hurricane, the earthquake, things just got worse there. And the reason why the Americans and all the other countries are not really doing anything about it is because we have our own immigration laws. And they've been trying to kick people that cross the border out of our country for a long time. Like, it's just, to me, I think it's sad. I feel if you come here to make a living and you're just living your life and you want to be a citizen, I say you should go ahead and become an American citizen. Once you cross that border, and as long as you're not killing people, you're not here starting trouble, before you get your, your green card to say you can stay here, then you got to go back to wherever you come from. But I just think that it's unfair to go back 86 years and say you got to go. So it's No, I just think that's crazy. You have an opinion about that?
Not about that, but I was going to say something about the Mexicans and crosses border. I think that a lot of people feel like when Mexicans cross the border, because you said that you feel as though if they come over here, they should be able to, you know.
I think once they make it past that border, if they're coming here to work and they're not going around killing people or starting trouble, I think that they're here now.
Right, but that's the problem that a lot of people have. It's not the question of whether or not they should be able to come. People in this country want them to come the legal way. And crossing the border is any legal way. And also, I watched this thing a few months ago, last year, where this man was a Mexican immigrant, and he came to this country crossing the border. He had been here for several months. He had stolen a car, gotten behind the wheel of a car, was speeding down this highway, got into a car accident, and killed 2 people. Naturally, once he was arrested, they found out he was an illegal immigrant. No type of anything on him.
Wasn't this on the news?
I don't know. This was last year when I heard about this, so I don't know. It may have been. What I'm saying is, many people want people to come into their country, including this country, the legal way. Yeah, you got some people who don't want them coming at all. But you got some people, like myself, I would like people to come in here the legal way. Why? Because think of it this way. If you have people coming into your country, undocumented, nobody knows who the hell they are, if something happens, how can you identify them? You can't. Because they didn't come in here legally. They came in here illegally. You see what I'm saying? Like, you want them to come in here legally, so that everybody can be accounted for, so that if something like that happens, you know who it is that did it. You don't want nobody coming in your country and you be like, something happens, you trying to identify this person, you got the sketch down, and then we don't even know who this person is, because we don't even know who the hell we looking for, because we ain't got them in a database, because they ain't even from this damn country. So how do we know who we looking for? It's like a needle in a haystack. Can you imagine how many people come into this country illegally every single day? You know, on the news about those 2 prisoners who escaped from New York, and they've been trying to find them for the past week. Well, I was watching CNN, and Randy Kay was up in New York, and New York and Canada share a border. That's where Niagara Falls is, for those of you who didn't know that. I knew that. You know, I love Beyonce, but I love history, and I love learning. They share a border. And so, Randy Kay was in this field that is surveyed with cameras and stuff like that by, you know, Border Patrol. Because Border Patrol is not just in Mexico down there, for those of you that didn't know. Border Patrol is up, you know, north too. Well, anyway, Randy Kay said, you know, they were showing, you know, people, you know, these cops or whatever, they have cameras that they can see if somebody's crossing the border. But who's to say those cameras are always being checked? She did something that I found very interesting. She was in this field, and she was with her camera guy. She's talking to Anderson, and she said, you know, here I am in the United States. And then she walked a little further, and she said, and now I'm in Canada. Mind you, there's no fence, there's no border patrol, there's no nothing. Can you imagine how many people come across that border and nobody knows because it's an open field? I would love for people to be there so that a convicted criminal from Canada doesn't walk into this country. I would love for people to be documented so a convicted killer or rapist won't come from Mexico into this country. It is important. I know we want everybody to have equal rights like us, but do it the right way so that I will not have to fear about an extra rapist or extra killer walking into this country. Yes, we got so many of them already here. We don't need no more. Lord knows we don't need no more. Hell, rapists and murderers, talk about terrorists.
I don't even want to talk about no
Talk about terrorists. We had terrorists in this country in 2001 all year long, and nobody knew about it.
There's so many people that have those.
That's why
what they keep calling ISIS affiliates. What they call sympathizers.
I can't speak too much on the Haitian and Dominican Republic thing because I haven't seen that documentary, but it sounds like
I want you to watch it because a lot of the Haitians, they feel like this is not about them really wanting to deport them. It's a racism thing. They really want them out of the country. And I feel like if it really is a racism thing, I'm not spending my money to go back to the Dominican Republic just to, you know, be there. I mean, because I mean, they treat us very nice. I mean,
yeah, because you're spending their money.
Okay, there was not. Bitch, I couldn't even get an unfilled glass. Like us, like don't, like y'all come. We all come from Africa. We all come from Africa. Y'all all share that island, okay? And you shouldn't treat nobody different. Like how you dark skinned and treating somebody else different because they darker than you. But you know what? We do it here, and we treat people different because they're darker. It's just ridiculous. I think that they should work to work an agreement out with the people that's there, because it's like if you're born in Dominican Republic and you grew up on that island, you are Dominican. Not saying that you're Hispanic, but you are Dominican because that's where you live, in Dominican Republic. So you are Dominican, but you have Haitian parents. So they're like, we don't want no Haitian Dominicans here either. Like, everybody that's Haitian got to go. That's just a little bit extreme. That's
under the age
not
of 86.
A little bit. That's too extreme. What you said?
That's under the age of 86.
Yes. That's like saying everybody got. Then they're gonna force you out your house, put you in a bus, and send you on that bridge and send you back into Haiti. Come on. That's just not right. That's not right to me.
There's a lot of things in this world that aren't right.
And the country and other countries, like they really want to do what you just said. And
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things in this world that are not right. It's true, it is. But
they don't. A lot of countries they want to do something about it, but they really can't because they have their own immigration problems, and that's why they're not. Really
I hope they don't want us to do something about it, because we can't even solve our immigration problem here.
Exactly. And I wanted to. I really wanted to. I really wondered like, why can't we? But that's why. Because you know we try to police every other country, and we can't even help those that's right there. Because we would look like hypocrites.
Because our shit is so. Because our shit is, well, this country's full of hypocrites. Our shit is so banged up. For instance, you have a lot of people who, going back to the Mexican issue, you have a lot of people who feel as though, particularly Democrats, I'll say this. You have a lot of Democrats who feel as though, bam, like you said, if they come across the border and if they want to live a good life, they say, fine, let them live it, blah, blah, blah. As long as they whatever, and they've been here for X amount of time, let them stay. If they have kids here, fine, let them stay. But then you have a lot of people who say, Republican Party, nah, if they come across the border illegally and we find out about them being here illegally, no matter how long they've been here, they should go back and do it the correct way because they can't get
illegally. Let them come back in here.
But my thing is, if you think that they should come over here legally, but yet you don't think that they should come back, you don't think that they should be sent back once they are here illegally, then what's your stance on it? Because you have some people who say that, yeah, they should come over here legally, but once they're here, if they did, well, then hey, let them stay. But then you can't have it that way. It's like, either they have to be here legally or they don't have to be here legally.
I wonder how they do it. Like, if you want to be here legally, maybe
I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you. I don't know how they do it, but remember how they used to do it years ago, when immigrants came to New York on Staten Island, they had to separate them, and, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to give you a history lesson. They would bring the immigrants over here when the immigrants would come from different countries, and they would go to Ellis Island. I'm talking about Staten Island. Ellis Island, sorry. Ellis Island. They would go to Ellis Island, and it was like a cattle call. You had people from here, people from Sweden, people from Russia, all these different things. Well, how they would do you is they would check you. They would check for all different types of things. They would check to see if you knew English. They would check to see if you knew people already over here. They would even check to see what kind of diseases you had. Now, naturally, probably, let's just say 1910. 1910, we all know 1910 is what, 105 years ago. 105 years ago, you didn't have machines and things like that to scan people to see what kind of diseases they had, their moms and things like that. So what people would do is a lot of the men there, they would try to look at you. If your eyes was too yellow or if they was too this, they would say, oh, you have typhoid. If it was this, you have this type of disease or that. So guess what they would do? You can't come over here. Or they would quarantine you. They would quarantine you for weeks or sometimes even months. And they would keep you there to see what your prognosis was. And if you didn't get any better, they shipped you back. Sometimes you even died. No telling what it was. But I don't know how they do it today. I just know I wouldn't want them to do it how they did it then. Okay? Because I don't think it was fair how they did people like that. Because they separated families that sometimes didn't even need to be separated. Sometimes somebody wasn't sick. They just had yellow eyes. You know? Like the guys out here that smoke weed now. Every day, all day, they got yellow eyes. And black lips.
I don't know if you could come to a country. Because, I mean, I know you can legally come into a country. But how do they know how long you're really going to be there? Like, because I've been to England and France. They say, well, how many days you going to be here? And I said, how many days I want to be there. But how do they know I didn't leave?
Well, this is how they know. Well, I don't know. No, never mind. I don't know how this is how they know. But this is how I'm assuming, and maybe one of y'all can tell me. I'm assuming that when you go into a country, you have what? A passport or something? Mm-hmm. Or some type of booklet? And I'm assuming that they probably stamp or mark down how long you're supposed to be there?
Mm-mm. They mark the day that you come in.
They mark the day that you come in.
Entry.
Okay, they mark the day of entry. Bam! So if you get stopped by police, let's say you come in June 1st, if you get stopped by the police on June 20th, you know, maybe they start asking you questions. Okay, well, how long are you supposed to be here? Just at the third or whatever the case may be. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because there could be people that probably fly in from Mexico. They fly into a country. I mean, fly into Los Angeles somewhere or Texas somewhere, and they stay here. I don't know how it works.
I don't know either.
Know.
I don't know either.
I would really like to know. But I'm scared to go to Mexico. I don't want to go to Mexico.
I would love to go to Mexico.
I don't know. I've been hearing too many kidnap stories and all of that stuff.
Yeah, you get kidnapped in Philadelphia.
I don't want to.
You know what I mean? Stuff. Like I just don't stop. You know, if I thought like that, what you just said, I would have never been on the plane. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'd have never got on the plane.
Fine. That's fine. But there are some places that I just don't want to go. Like I have no desire to go to. It is what it is.
It is what it is. But you know. But I just don't let what I hear stop me from going places because,
when
like I said, if I would have allowed,
that's fine.
I'm
listening.
If I would have allowed 9/11 to stop me from getting on planes, I'd have never been a citizen. But 9/11 didn't stop me from getting on planes because I always had in the back of my mind.
Was that your first
crash every day? When on 9/11?
No, to go to Sizzle.
No, I flew. My first plane ride was actually. I had gotten hired at this airline that is no more in existence, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. What is it? Northwest? Is it Northwest?
Continental.
No, Northwest. It was the gray plane with the red white writing on it, or the white writing.
I don't remember the logo.
I don't think they're but whatever airline it was, it's no longer in existence anymore. Well, whatever the case, I got hired with them, and you know when you get hired with these airlines, you got to fly to their home. They fly you to their home base. Well, that was my first time on a plane, and I flew by myself. And, you know, I was just like, wow. Because I was by myself. And it was 2006. So that's what, 5 years after 9/11. So I was kind of like a little hesitant. But I couldn't let that stop me. And I just thought about when you said about the kidnapping, I'm thinking, they kidnap people everywhere. You can go down the street.
Like, I don't want to go to South America, none of that shit. Like,
You know where you should want to go to in Mexico? Mexico, there's a beautiful place called Cabo San Lucas.
Yeah, I heard of that. Everybody wants to. I heard it got destroyed from the hurricane last year.
It probably did. But hopefully they redid it.
Maybe.
By the time I get down there.
Yeah, I heard everybody loses their mind in Cabo.
You know why? Because everybody's tired of Cancun.
But you know, I'm more of a European person. Like, I want to go back to not Italy. I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Spain.
Fancy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of you fancy girls are usually European girls.
Mm-hmm. So fancy. Yeah, I identify with the Europeans. Some European, American. You know, I just do. So.
Which European do you identify with?
Yes. Huh?
Which European country do you identify with?
I really love. I would say that I love England the most. I really love England. I do. Like, if I could live there, bitch, I would live there. There's 3 places I would have home. I would have a home in Philly, Atlanta, and London. That you know me. Yeah. So one day when I hit the lottery, or one day when we get them good TV shows, you know, I'm getting out of here. You know, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good. And then you know what's so crazy is that as I'm 30 now, I be thinking about the evolution of life, and it's like we getting all this new shit, and it's like,
yeah, didn't I say
so much?
Didn't I say
changing.
2 segments ago? The new normal.
Mm-hmm. But bitch, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about
life. You talking about life?
But
you said things are evolving in technology.
Yeah, technology and like our city, like we getting all this new shit. It's like
life,
and I want to live for all of it. I want to see it all.
You know what? Sometimes I often think that when people, you know how when you watch movies and stuff and you see how they describe how the future looks? Like for instance, I love watching movies from the 70s and they're doing something that has to do with 2001 and they'd be like all these spaceships and I was like, that's not how 2001 looks.
We still have flying cars.
That's not how it looks. In my mind, what's going on today in the world is how the future looks. I gotta find that comment. That guy, when he said what he said to you in that comment, it really struck a nerve with me because I started saying to myself, wow, this really is the future. And like I said earlier, this really is the new normal. You got stuff that years ago would not have even been considered normal. But it is normal today. It is okay today. You know, we can get up, like you said, you can get up and legally change your sex. You can get up and get on TV and say that I'm black, but you're really not black. You know, because I guarantee you, by the end of next week, ain't nobody gonna give 2 fucks about.
Until that black person come out and say, "Oh, I'm really white." Oh, now they really gonna let that.
But until that happens, who's gonna give 2 shits about Rachel Dolezal or Dolezal?
As long as they keep interviewing her, and as long as you keep talking, they're gonna be talking.
But yeah, they're going to. But I'm saying once that stops, because remember, take it back to Chicago. Once all the hype around you stops, it's on to the next story. What was people saying? Isn't it ironic how we was all talking about Caitlyn Jenner one week and now we're talking about Rachel? Nobody's even talking about Caitlyn no more. We don't talk about Caitlyn when we do this debate. But other than that, nobody's talking about Caitlyn.
We'll see Caitlyn at the ESPYs.
Right, at the ESPYs, and then we'll talk about Caitlyn again. Then we'll talk about her again. But next week, nobody's not going to be talking. Everything is just changing and evolving. This is the new normal. And it's become so that, you know, it's like, sometimes I wonder why, not me and you, but why us as society get so worked up about somebody changing their skin color or somebody turning into a man or turning into a woman. Because at the end of the day, that's how the world is today. It's just how it is.
It's healthy debate, and it's always good to have a discussion on things.
It is, but you know what?
With this conversation gonna look like in 3 years.
Healthy debate, yeah, I love healthy debate, but I'm gonna keep that to myself. Yeah. I love healthy debate. But yeah, I think that it's everything has changed and the world is changing, and like I get shocked. Like I posted this picture on Instagram and I was shocked that it was these 2 guys kissing at a graduation.
Yeah,
and this girl was
on
my face. Yeah. But the funny thing about it is I saw some of my comments and people, a lot of females. That's why I think the debate between transgenders. You know what I think? I don't even think a debate about transgender women should be held with a transgender person. It should be held with a female and a transgender woman. That would be a good debate. But that's why I was really, really amazed how the comments were going about, where a lot of females was like, they were in agreement with the girl. Like, well, yeah, because I mean, and you know, in reality, I mean, 2 guys kissing, that's not normal. And I'm saying to myself, well, I mean, in today's world, that is normal. But even though I didn't agree with what they were saying, I understood what they were saying. And I couldn't argue with them. I couldn't argue with them. Why? Because, you know, I understood what they were saying. That's why I said sometimes when a lot of people, when they arguing and going back and forth or even debating, what is it? Somebody said, be slow to speak and what is it? Quick to listen or understand. I'm a read
I see it on your Instagram the other day.
Yeah, I can't. You know, I post stuff and then I forget what the hell it is that I post. To me, that's a good debate. When those who are debating are, yeah. Wait, what was it? Oh yeah, here it is. They said some of us are too quick to speak and not patient enough to understand. That is a debate when you are slow to speak and patient enough to understand what's being said, even if you don't agree. That is a healthy debate. And I think that that would be a great debate if you have a born female having a conversation with a transgender woman. I would love to see how that conversation will go. That would be a really good debate. Because if you have two people like me and you talking to a transgender woman, I ain't transgender, so I don't know nothing about what they went through, and I don't know nothing about what they are identifying with because I can't relate because I ain't no woman. You can't relate either. You can support and sympathize with what they're going through, but you can't relate because you ain't no woman. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So does anybody transgender out there want to talk to a female, or is there a female viewer that would like to set up a... I would love it.
Excuse me. I just wouldn't want it to be a forum with ignorance.
No.
Because there's still going to be people that's ignorant. And I mean, some are blatantly ignorant. And I just, now I seen it, like I seen some, but mostly were positive. But I did see some, and I just was like, you get it, but you don't want to get it. And that's fine. But if it's going to be a good forum, if we do that, I want it to be, I want it to be respectful. And not a place to be ignorant.
Well, I don't think anybody would invite ignorance. But I think, too, that people should understand that just because somebody is not agreeing with you does not necessarily mean that they're being ignorant. Mm-hmm. Just like you don't agree with me.
Not saying like that. I'm talking about, but you still not a female, or you still not a woman. Like,
no, I don't think...
I don't know. I
wouldn't even allow a conversation to continue after that. I think that they're... Like I said, it was so good, because I don't read the comments, but it was so good to read these comments, because there were a lot of people who agreed with me and people who didn't, that just really had really good stuff to say. And I was just like, damn. Guess what I was even doing? I was even putting people against people, like... I was looking at some comments like, damn, I wish this person would talk to this person in this comment, because I'd like to see them going back and forth, but... And I kept seeing you, Papa. She would just stop commenting and stuff and just let these people go at it.
I got to reply to some comments. Yeah. Like when you're talking about Michael Jackson, he wanted to be white. I never heard Michael Jackson say he wanted to be white.
No, I never heard him say he wanted to be white either. I did hear him say that he had some sort of skin disease.
Vitiligo.
Yeah, but I never heard him say he wanted to be white. I don't know where that ever came from, but I don't know. Are we done? Because I feel like we're done.
Yes, we are done. This was like an hour and a half.
I'm starving.
Where are you taking me to eat from?
I'll take you anywhere as long as you buy me something.
No, bitch, you gotta buy me something.
No, that's not the deal. You want me to take you somewhere and pay for you to eat and then bring you home. Right.
As long as there's a store next door and down the street.
I know that's right. You better cop your ass up and get it. I know that's right. I know that's right. As long as 308 is there, I will be all right.
So, oh my God.
You got somebody to wait for you in Germantown.
This is going to have the girls talking all weekend long. And if we said anything wrong, don't bring it to my Twitter. Please just leave it on YouTube. Okay.
I think people like you more than they like me. I'm gonna tell you why. No. You don't even let me finish.
Because I want you to say
no.
Like
I was saying it in a good way. Mm-hmm. Can you let me finish?
Go ahead.
I was saying that I think people like you more than they like me because they bring their bullshit to you. They don't bring it to me. It's almost as if people are just like, we're not even going to take it to Miguel. We're just going to take it all to Kevin. And you know why I think they take it all to you? Say why.
Why?
Because you respond back. Because if you notice, I never, ever, rarely do I ever come to you or come on this show and say that I had to argue with somebody or get somebody together because of something that they brought to me or something that I was saying.
I haven't argued in a long time.
No, it's not that you argue. You respond back to it. Like if they say something that you don't like or whatever, you respond back to it. If they say something good, you respond back to it. But it'll be a lot of times when they don't say nothing nice and you respond back to it. And I think that's what they like. They like to get you riled up. So then they go, like for instance, those comments yesterday on Twitter with that guy. I saw that and I was just like,
no, I just cursed him out basically.
Yeah, you did. He did. He did curse that
But
guy
that
out.
wasn't going back and forth.
But the point that I was making is he liked that. And it was going back and forth. Because once you cursed him out, he said something to you and you responded back.
I just said bye. This is my thing. I haven't had a long, dragged out argument with anybody on YouTube in a long time. You can look for it on YouTube. You can look for it on Instagram. Look for it on Twitter. I don't do that. But I was riled up yesterday because I'm like, bitch, now everybody on YouTube done said it. Now you want to bring it to my fucking Twitter? Get out of here with that bullshit. Like, yes, I went off.
You know what that reminds me of? When I say to people on Instagram, I need the first person who can tell me who was the 13th president of the United States, the first person who can tell me that, they will get a foul. And don't you know, the first person to tell me, and then it'll be 20 other people behind them saying the same name. And I'd be like, well, damn, didn't y'all read what I said? That's what I took that whole discussion. You know, I didn't even know we said that word until my friend Rome texted me. He was like, such and such. And I read the text, and I was like, I didn't say that. And then I'm like, wait, did we say that? And then I wrote him, and I was like, well, you know, we kind of like was in the heat of the moment. So maybe we did say something that we didn't really, you know.
No, but sometimes I do think to myself, like, if I ask, like, what should we discuss? And I see the same, I'm like, damn, somebody already, like, if you see it like 20 times, like, okay, well, to me, this like, you know, they really want to talk about it, but, okay, I see it. But what really makes me upset is when you tell us to talk about something that's been already discussed. I'm like, oh my God.
Just because they...
That's how I know they ain't watched the previous video. I'm like, oh my God, I know I ain't watch you. But yeah, let's just say that I have been very good with not going back and forth. And when you say that they respond to me, I'm talking about like as me as responding, because I do respond to...
No, I wasn't saying it in a bad way. I was actually saying it in a good way for you. Actually in a good way for me too, because sometimes I just be like, not right now. Not on Instagram, not on Twitter. I don't know, and I really don't care. Tibby, she should be crying. Hopefully somebody smacked her in her mouth, because she has a nasty mouth.